We last saw Jack take offense that the third eye claims to be stronger than a captain, and he wanted to put that theory to the test. The two sides stared each other down and a cataclysmic battle awaited us. Now, Neej tells Noel he intends to turn himself over to the Magic Knights as thanks for Asta saving his life. Meanwhile, Noel's worrying if Rebecca is the girl Asta has his eyes on. Meanwhile, Nozel of the Silver Eagles, Charlotte of the Blue Roses, and Jack the Ripper of the Green Praying Mantises make a hero's entrance. Jack threatens to cut Yami up on the spot, while Charlotte insults Yami for being defeated. But in truth, she cannot bring herself to admit her feelings for him. Yami makes fun of Nozel's hair and the rest of the Black Bulls wonder how he styles his middle braid, and Nozel threatens to kill them instead. After their not-so-friendly banter, the three knight captains engage the third eye, but they are evenly matched. Charlotte's Briarthorn magic is cut down by Raya's stolen dark magic. Jack's severing magic has little effect on Veto, and Nozel's mercury magic is melted in Fauna's flames. Yami asks Finral to teleport him to Licht to deal the finishing blow. Predicting this would happen, Licht has already readied a second light ray. To everyone's surprise, Asta emerges from the dust undetected due to his lack of magic. He strikes Licht into the ground, causing Jack to remark that Asta stole the show. Suddenly, an unbelievable amount of magic begins spilling out of Licht, and the seal placed on him is dispelled due to Asta's attack. Licht identifies Asta's blades as the Demo Slayer sword and the Demon Dweller sword, and angrily tells him to return it to its rightful owner, their master. As the Magic Knights fear that the magic will soon kill them all, the Third Eye hastily perform a sealing ritual to restrain Licht. Realizing the battle is lost, the Third Eye retreats, but swear that they will always be watching. The Magic Knights consider this a victory and Asta collapses from exhaustion. While the other captains squabble, Nozel takes note of Asta as he realizes there is more than meets the eye. Back in the Midnight Sun's base, the members are worried that the Clover Kingdom will soon double their efforts to investigate their activities. Asta awakens to see himself being healed by Mimosa and sees both Klaus and Yuno. He learns that he was unconscious for a whole day and that Neej has been taken into custody. Ghosh pays his respects to Teresa, and although they are both hostile to one another, he is glad that she is alive, causing her to remark that he has matured a little. Asta arrives to greet Teresa as well, and Marie excitedly swings on his arm, causing Ghosh to revert to his old self. Noel calls Asta to leave, but they first make a stop at Rebecca's house, where he eats prepared a wonderful meal she had prepared for him. She gives him a kiss on the cheek which embarrasses Asta, and Noel is frantic. When they arrive back at the Black Bull's base, they have a potato pie eating contest to celebrate their return, a bout from which Charmy emerges on top, to the surprise of no one. Yami then receives a letter from the capital, asking him and Asta to attend a captain's meeting the next day. Yami and Asta arrive at the castle, and Asta meets King Julius's advisor called Marx for the first time. He leads them down into the dungeons where they keep two of the Midnight Sun members prisoner. Suspecting a traitor among the Magic Knight captain's ranks, he has Asta undo the protective spell on the prisoners, allowing him to read their minds. Meanwhile, the squad captains are gathered in a conference room squabbling over minor details, while Rill constantly tries to lighten the mood. However, the captain of the Golden Dawn Vangeance arrives late, citing the business matters he had to attend to, but Nozel is suspicious that Vangeance was not present during the earlier awards ceremony. However, he doesn't answer. Marx then calls the captains into the dungeons, where he reveals that thanks to Asta's help, he knows there is a traitor amongst their ranks. The traitor is revealed to be Gelder Poizot, the captain of the Purple Orcas. Although he stammers that he was merely framed, Marx says his magic is absolute. They suggest peering into Gelder's memories to confirm his innocence, but he casts his invisibility magic and escapes. The captains remark that his magic leaves him impervious to magic, but Yami says there is no need to worry. Asta uses his Kai to track Gelder down. Rill arrives and uses his magic to restrain the traitor and happily greets Asta, who finds his anti-magic abilities interesting. The other Magic Knight captains and Julian arrive and they interrogate Gelder. They learn of his secret dealings from abusing his squadmates, making deals with the Midnight Sun, and crucially kidnapping the barrier mages that allowed the attack on the capital to happen. Julius dismisses the captains and tells them that he plans to make this matter of betrayal private to prevent a panic. As the captains leave, one of them changes back into Raya. Who he was is a mystery. Julius says Yami and Asta stay behind and explains to them another key piece of information from their interrogations. The Eye of the Midnight Sun is gathering several magic stones. They mean to place these stones into a stone tablet that, once completed, will grant them immense power. For this purpose, they attack Fugolian for his possession of such a magic stone. There are 3 stones left, and Julius identifies one location, the Underwater Temple, as holding one of these stones. He charges the Black Bulls with the task of retrieving it. Asta's anti-magic key in eliminating the magic barriers present in the temple. Remembering the kindness that Julius once showed to an outsider like him, Yami uncharacteristically salutes and swears to prove to everyone that Julius did not make a mistake in choosing him. When the Black Bulls learn that they are going to beach, they are ecstatic, but Yami angrily reminds them that they are going there for work. While coming home from a mission, Klaus, Yuno, and Mimosa respond to a shriek coming from below, but it was only Noel, embarrassed at having been stripped nude by Vanessa. Noel has trouble picking out a swimsuit, and a store clerk suggests a gaudy-looking bikini with gold embellishments, which she buys. The following day, the Black Bulls prepare to leave but find that Yami had already left hours before them. They head to the seaside town of Rak, and for the first time, Asta and Noel see Gray showing off her shape-shifting powers. However, they soon realize they left behind Gordon at their base. They arrive at the beach and play around. Bolt and Magna chase each other. Finral tries to flirt with girls. Ghost shows off the beach to Marie using his mirror. Charmy tries to smash a watermelon while Noel tries to show off her swimsuit to Asta. Sek also happens to be in the area and is unknowingly trampled by the Black Bulls. Yami arrives and scolds them for playing around, and the Black Bulls are surprised that he was actually doing work. He explains that the underwater temple is located deep in the ocean. The magic barrier surrounding it ordinarily prevents even first-rate mages from breaking through, but they have a chance when it weakens during a full moon. With the next full moon a week away, he orders Noel to gain control over her magic within that time lest they be crushed underwater. That night, Noel trains to improve her only spell, Sea Dragon's Lair, but she makes no progress. She runs into Asta, who is also training, and she reluctantly agrees to train together. Asta notices a beautiful voice, and accompanied by Noel they find a girl singing atop a boulder. Julius wonders how the Black Bulls are doing, wishing he could have gone with them to the temple. However, the Black Bulls are currently being rowdy beasts, destroying the villa they are staying in. Meanwhile, Asta and Noel meet the singing girl Kahona, whose dream is to become an idol. She is friendly and outgoing, and upon noticing that Asta's body is fatigued, she uses her song recovery magic to heal him. Noel is impressed when she notices that Kahona's magic control is sharp and precise. The three become quick friends, and Noel is secretly overjoyed to have made a friend close to her age. When Kahona learns that the two are training for a secret mission, she asks Noel to show off her magic. Kahona then suggests that Noel find a calm memory to work with, as a steady heart is necessary for astute magic control. However, Noel only recalls her troubled past of being bullied by her siblings, and she walks away. Noel struggles to train over the next few days, and as the day of the mission draws near, she is still unable to control her magic properly. Asta suggests that she let out all her magic at once like she did when they first met, and he promises to deal with the fallout. Noel unleashes all her magic at once, but as expected it runs wild. She slowly begins to accept her fate, as she has no happy memories with which to fall back on to control her magic. However, the Black Bulls suddenly arrive and give her words of encouragement, reminding her that while she never had any happy memories with her family, she has made countless happy memories with her new ones. Knowing that they put their trust in her, she puts her trust in herself and creates a new spell, the Sea Dragon's Cradle. Everyone celebrates her success, however she soon collapses due to exhaustion. Asta catches her and she slaps him for touching her so casually. She turns to thank Kahona for her help, but she is nowhere to be seen. Kahona remarks that Noel has some good friends and says that she will be waiting for her at the bottom, and she dives into the sea. Noel is nervous at first, but she calms herself after seeing how much her teammates trust her. She successfully performs the Sea Dragon's Cradle, and they begin their perilous descent beneath the sea. They are rocked by the turbulent undersea currents and the equally dangerous threat of Vanessa vomiting all over them. They finally reach the magic barrier, and Yami orders Asta to cut through it, but he replies that he cannot swim. Yami impatiently grabs Asta and hurls him into it. They find themselves in an underwater city filled with houses carved into the coral. They use Charmy's cotton magic to float towards the underwater temple. They meet the citizens of the underwater city, who are surprisingly friendly. They lead the Black Bulls towards the temple, and once there, they meet the High Priest, an eccentric old man. Knowing that they have come for the magic stone, he jokingly proposes a game of chess squishing, which instantly earns him a beating from Noel. As the rest of the Black Bulls consider just beating up the High Priest for the stone, he proposes a battle royale between the Black Bulls and his very own temple mages, all of whom are wearing strange fish masks. He sends them down various water tunnels across the temple and explains the rules. Each member will fight the other one-on-one, but they are allowed to seek out allies to turn it into a group battle. Noel is the first to realize that the Black Bulls are down a member, but does not recall they left behind Gordon. Asta's opponent, a large octopus-faced man, belittles him for being a weakling with no magic. Asta draws his sword and invites the octopus face to find out for himself if he really is weak. Yami and the head priest called Jifso sit down and enjoy watching the fights together. When Jifso learns that the Black Bulls are junior magic knights, he comments that his temple mages outclass them. But to his surprise, the Black Bulls are far stronger than their rank suggests. Luck, Magna, Ghosh, and Asta all instantly win their first fights. Although incensed his mages lost so quickly, Jifso says that the battle is not over yet. Jifso sends a giant fish against Finral for doing nothing but try to escape, while Charmy has spent the past few minutes eating. A temple mage appears that lulls her to sleep with magic, which Jifso considers a victory. Magna and Luck arrive in the same cave and meet Geo, Jifso's son. Luck attacks first, but his thunder magic is deflected by Geo's sea god's shield despite Luck having a type advantage. Meanwhile, Asta encounters Kayato, who begins to show off his sword dance, and Asta is starstruck. Kayato shares his dream about one day being able to go to the surface to become a famous dancer, but he says they are forbidden from going beyond the shorelines. He then explains that if they win this battle royale, Jifso promised they could go as far as the capital, and for the sake of his dream he will cut Asta down. Asta shares his own dream of becoming the Wizard King, and the two enter a deadly melee. Worried she has yet to master any offensive moves, Noel encounters Kahono. Although reluctant to fight a friend, she is forced to defend herself against Kahono's lullaby magic with her sea dragon's cradle. When Kahono notices Noel's spells go off target, she tells her that she has a subconscious fear of hurting others. Meanwhile, Asta has trouble reading Kayato's moves despite using Kai. He tries to calm down and empty his mind, and he finally slashes Kayato. Vanessa has also shown promising success, surprising Yami, and he regrets that he didn't bet more. He then warns Jifso that the Midnight Sun are after the magic stone as well and asks him to hand it over just in case. But just on cue, a giant whale crashes into a cave, crushing Geo underneath. The Eye of the Midnight Sun have arrived and they have come for the stone. Minutes earlier, Veto killed several magic knights, alerting Sek. He conjures a giant magic whale and descends into the ocean below. Magna and Luck stare down Veto, the beast of the Midnight Sun. Geo regains consciousness and asks what Veto is after. He replies he is also after the magic stone, and he sends forth his allies to terrorize the city. Geo tries smashing him with Sea God's hammer, but it falls flat against Veto's rhinoceros armor. In the blink of an eye, Veto defeats all three mages present. Realizing the danger his squad is in, Yami asks to be let out, but Jifso says it is impossible for him to until his magic game is done. Yami tries escaping himself, but one of the Midnight Sun mages has erected a spatial magic dome over their building, preventing him from leaving. Using Jifso's magic, Yami announces to his squad that Veto and the Midnight Sun have invaded, and tasks them with the almost impossible feat of defeating him, telling them to surpass their limits here and now. Jifso adjusts the rules of his game, instructing his temple mages to cooperate with the Black Bulls and assigning them a new condition for victory: take down Veto. As Veto turns to leave, Magna and Luck get up, spurred on by the words of their captain. Luck asks Veto to charge at him and he obliges, but to his surprise Luck manages to dodge and return fire. Luck is miraculously able to keep up with Veto, who is touted to have magic power exceeding even that of a magic knight captain. As Magna recalls his tumultuous relationship with Luck, he admits that he is his best friend. Likewise, Luck recalls his own friendship with Magna and recognizes him as his first ever friend. Having set aside their fight for later, Asta and Kayato race towards the battle against Veto. Asta has great confidence in the abilities of his two seniors, and in a pinch they can be reliable. Luck and Magna refuse to surrender despite the difference in power, as they'd never be able to look Asta in the eye if they do. They perform a fusion of their two magics, a flame lightning explosive cannon which hits Veto at point blank range. Asta and Kayato arrive just in time to see Veto take the full brunt of their attack. The force of their combined magic is a sight to behold, but to the horror of Asta and everyone watching, the attack does nothing to Veto, who truly is a wild force of nature. Before Veto can deal the finishing blow, Asta jumps to his squad's defense. Recognizing him as the one who mortally wounded Licht, Veto promises to give Asta a thorough beating. Asta and Kayato join forces and attack Veto, but he is far too fast and they are barely able to keep up. As Vanessa senses the battle raging above her, a mage appears behind her. Charmy remains asleep, but a crab tugs at her. Meanwhile, Ghosh faces off against Zarek, a chain magic user who can instantaneously destroy offensive magic as soon as it is cast. Ghosh tries several other tricks, but he is forced to retreat by Zarek's giant chain balls. While he recovers from his wounds, a crab tugs away at his pants. Ghosh returns to battle Zarek, who seemingly destroys his mirror double, but the real Ghosh appears behind him again, blasting him with a large reflect ray. The crab and body double was gray in disguise all along. The two of them find Charmy still asleep, much to Ghosh's annoyance. When they walk over to her, they are caught in a vine trap set up by Zuda, a Midnight Sun mage. Their magic is slowly being drained away from them, and Ghosh comes up with a plan. He tells Gray to transform a nearby boulder into a slab of meat, which successfully rouses Charmy from her slumber. She summons a giant sheep that pummels Zuda into the wall before happily leaping onto the meat, but is disappointed when it was nothing but a rock all along. With the last of Gray's magic used up, he is no longer able to maintain his magic, but much to Charmy's shock, Gray's real appearance is that of a girl. Ignoring her in favor of his sister Marie, Ghost wonders how Asta is faring against Veto. Asta and Viato continue their assault, but Veto easily swats them like flies. Asta refuses to give up and tries again, but Veto finds his resilience irritating and begins instilling into Asta the feeling of despair. Veto begins to crush his wrist, but he is saved by Noel and Kohana, who have come to his rescue. Noel and Kahono arrive to see their comrades broken and beaten. Asta attempts another attack, but he is repelled once more. Kahono sees her brother Kayato and screams at him, reminding him of their dream to go to the surface. He is reinvigorated and the two begin a song-dance combo spell and engage Veto. Viato's wind slashes manage to damage Veto bit by bit, but he is unable to inflict major damage. Veto becomes irritated with the siblings' spouting of dreams and proclaims that it is they, the Midnight Sun, that have true dreams. In sick act of cruelty, Veto crushes one of Viato's legs, forever robbing him of his ability to dance, and he crushes Kahono's windpipe, silencing her songs forever, and to Veto's dismay, Kahono's eyes are still full of spirit. As Veto begins crushing Kahono to death, Noel calls him out to let her friend go, but Veto just ignores her words. Noel suddenly hears Kahono's voice in her head encouraging her, and says that she is ready to fight for those she loves. Noel begins amassing a huge amount of magic, before remembering Fugolian's words, being weak is nothing to be ashamed of, but staying weak is. Veto recognizes Noel as royalty and she introduces herself as hailing from the Silva family. Noel unleashes her new attack magic, the Sea Dragon's Roar. Veto attempts to parry it with his beast claws, but the force proves to be too much for him to handle. He is blown away with the attack, even penetrating the magic barriers surrounding the island. When the dust settles, Veto has lost an arm. Yami is astounded at Noel's magical power. Recalling a painful past, Veto grows a third eye on his forehead and commends Noel for forcing him to this point. He miraculously regrows his arm, a feat that stuns Jifso, as even the best recovery magic cannot regrow lost limbs. Veto begins preparing his magic and Yami yells at Noel to run away. However, Noel holds her ground, and as the magic blast strikes her, she realizes that the last of her magic was used up in her last attack. Yami looks on anxiously and sees that Asta has regained consciousness and blocked the attack with his blade. He cannot help but feel proud of his young pupil. Asta picks up his blade and proclaims that they haven't given up yet. Vanessa is distracted by the vast amount of magic above, and her opponent Toik tells her she does not have the luxury of looking away. Asta and Noel stare at the frighteningly powerful Veto, with Noel remarking he looks just like the fiends from her mother's fairy tales. Yami tries to force his way out and yells at the Midnight Sun Mage that he's going to beat him up when he gets out. Vanessa struggles against the combination of Toik's sound and needle magic. However, she successfully lures him into a position where her threads restrain him, and he forces him to absorb his own magic, defeating him. Noel is astounded that Asta is somehow still standing, and he explains that Kohana healed him little by little, which moves Noel. Hiding in the shadows, Finral is terrified of Veto and chooses to escape instead. He hears Asta give a speech about not giving up being his only weapon, but this only causes Finral to grow even more frantic, as he thinks the fight is impossible. Veto targets the fallen around him with a barrage of beast magic, but Vanessa arrives just in time to carry them to safety, restraining Veto in the process. She remarks that she finally understands why the Black Bulls like Asta so much. He never surrenders. She loudly asks her captain to confirm her reasoning, and he agrees. Because of Asta, everyone in the Black Bulls have gone beyond their limits, including him. Breaking free from his bonds, Veto says that no matter how many of them come, they are all insignificant insects compared to him. He fires a blast of energy, but it is redirected back at him by Finral, who had finally worked up the courage to come forward. Vanessa instructs Noel to protect the injured members while the three of them face Veto. They beautifully conduct hit and run tactics against him, teleporting and manipulating Asta's movements using Finral's portals and Vanessa's puppet strings. The movements confuse Veto, who cannot keep up with the pace. Asta finally lands a decisive strike on Veto, and he declares that with his blades and courage he will defeat him. And this brings the anime to an end. Comment for part 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. Until next time, take care.